No, 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 no. No, no, no. No. What the heck is going on, people? Use Tide Pods for washing, not eating. Do not eat.
There it is, a PSA for the Tide Pod Challenge. Don't do it, kids. Here, joining us this morning, Dr. Lahif from St. Paul's to talk about the dangers of the Tide Pod Challenge, and also, is it impacting families and children here in Vancouver? Have you heard of any cases?
So the Poison Information Centre in BC has had a few calls about this, but I'm not aware of any cases. We haven't seen any at St. Paul's that I know of. They may have had a few cases in Ontario, but they've had several dozen cases south of the border.
I just realized, maybe you're not even familiar with what the Tide Pod Challenge is, but it's a viral meme. Teenagers in particular just showing their friends and followers what happens when they bite into a detergent tablet, similar to the Tide Pod tablets. Sometimes it's ones for the washing machine. The cases that you've heard of in Ontario, have there been any deaths?
Not that I'm aware of. This has happened quite commonly. There have been hundreds of cases of little kids doing this over the years. Makes sense. They look kind of interesting. They look kind of like candy. But having, teenagers or young adults do this deliberately is brand new.
Yeah, it is baffling. It's a bit jaw-dropping. And as you mentioned again, it's been cases with children dying. I did read about 10 cases of deaths, and they have been purely toddlers who are confusing them with candy, but also seniors who are dealing with dementia and also get similarly confused.
Sure. And I think the manufacturer, they tried to make more difficult to open packaging. How effective that's been. It seems the numbers of toddlers have gone down, but it still happens not infrequently.
So it's really hard to hear, Dr. Lahif, but what happens to the body when you bite into a tablet that's full of detergent?
So these things have this concentrated detergent, and when you bite into it, they kind of explode. Some of that's going to come out, splash over your face and into your eyes and cause problems there. But the riskier stuff goes back to the back of your throat, and from there it can trigger this profound vomiting response, and some of it can actually get down into your airway and cause inflammation and damage in your lungs or your windpipe. In really severe cases, they've had to put people on ventilators, or people have ended up with perforations or holes in their esophagus and long-term, many years of swallowing problems.
So this could be, it might not be something that could kill you immediately, but something that could cause long-term problems.
Absolutely, absolutely.
As parents, isn't this, I know you're a parent as well, Dr. Lahif, and I am as well. My kids are 5 and 9, and I'm just I'm trying to protect them right now from these memes and sort of trends that are dangerous. As a doctor and a parent, is there a way that you talk to your kids about things like this, like the Tide Pod Challenge?
I just try to talk to my kids sort of openly and honestly. I kind of have the philosophy that I'm going to let them know the reality of what's out there, and kind of have this agreement with them that I'll tell them the truth, and I'm not going to try to sugarcoat it for them or tell them that things are dangerous when they really aren't. This really is dangerous and moronic. And I just think being open with our kids and letting them know about this is probably the best way to prevent them from doing something such a terrible idea.
Yeah, it's so true. It really does feel as a parent like our hearts just beat outside of our chests, and when these things come up, we want to spread the word. But do you think, as an emergency room physician, do you think that talking about this kind of stuff might increase it happening here in Vancouver?
I don't think so. I think what increases it, as you said, is the internet and this stuff being shared. And if all they hear is the one side, do this goofy challenge, nothing is going to happen, then they're just hearing on one side of the story. So I don't think us talking about it and talking about how dangerous it is a bad idea at all.
Well, thank you so much for joining us this morning from St. Paul's. Really appreciate you coming in. All the best speaking with your children and keeping them safe.